Legalization. Woo. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. We got it. Woo. Yeah. Wonderful. All right, guys. We are going to have a great presentation for you now. So I'm going to tell you, this is called a foodie's guide to edibles, fine dining for fun. Because there's no reason that you can't consume 5-star dining with your edibles and all kinds of different stuff. So we have an incredible gentleman joining us. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Chef John MacNeils. I'm going to transfer now to my headset. So I will let you introduce yourself, but just to give you an idea, guys, John has traveled the world. He's worked in Michelin-star restaurants. He's basically everything I wanted to be until my parents shut that chef dream down because they saw how I deal in stressful situations. So, John, why don't you just tell people who you are and what you do?
Okay, great. So, my name is John MacNeils, and I'm a chef. Thank you all for coming to the Lift Expo to view this foodie's guide, fine dining for fun. So edibles is a hot topic right now, especially with the legalization about 6 months away. A lot of talk about gummies, brownies, cookies, different infused foods. But a lot of people don't want to wait around until 6 months, so a lot of people are experimenting at home. So I'm going to make a couple dishes here for you. I got 2 recipes. I'm going to do a salad, and I'm going to do a peanut butter and jam geode. And so it's just kind of, just have fun with it, and we can go from there.
We will definitely have fun. Well, John was making all this, or showing me, and I just salivating, and the I thought maybe not eating it just before I come on the stage, for obvious reasons. But why don't you talk us through the salad first, John? So what have you got to prepare?
Absolutely. So I'm going to do a butter leaf salad here. So this is a beautiful head of butter leaf salad. So I usually look for a salad that's really tight in the center, and on the outside here we can use these for tomorrow's lunch, or we can even put this onto a sandwich or something. So I'm just going to cut the head out of it here. This is going to be the most tender part of the salad.
Even this is amazing, because even this I have no idea. I'm just cutting and hoping it's good for me. So there we go, nice and prepared. So obviously this is the base, and then how do you start to kind of infuse the flavors? How do you start to infuse things like the CBD and stuff?
So when you're looking at cannabis, you're going to want to take the cannabis bud itself. I look for quality first. Look for from a licensed producer. You're going to have all the analytical data with that. It's going to give you the THC, CBD percentages inside, as well as the terpene content. The terpenes are one of the most important things that I look for, because this is what gives the cannabis its flavor. That, in part with the proper curing process, helps break down all the chlorophyll, and then you're left with something really, really nice to eat. So depending on the night that you have planned or may not have planned, you can definitely choose your terpene profile. If you're looking for something a little bit more energetic, you can look for something with, say, limonene, which is actually found in lemons. And this is a lemon here that I've preserved in salt for 1 month. So this was a regular lemon, cut it by quarters, covered it with salt, and I left it sit for 1 month in the fridge. I took it out, and then I chopped it up into here. And then this way here, you're going to capture all of the essential oils that are found inside the lemon itself. But then you can also find...
Sorry to interrupt, have you been doing that kind of thing for a long time? Is that something that you've crafted yourself over the years, or is this something that the modern person such as myself and you guys would do?
Yes, there's lots of information out online. You can just Google terpenes. There's many different booths there that specialize in this. And they talk about different flavors being either lemonine, you have pinene, which is actually found in some dill, and then we have the raspberry, we have basil, and that's it.
It's pretty impressive. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I should note that John was named Best Chef in 2012 by Avenue Magazine and received a number of accolades across the world, and founded in Calgary, called one of Canada's 100 best restaurants in 2015, which is absolutely sensational. So suffice to say, he knows what he's doing. But I believe that we could do this. Belief is half of the battle. So what are you doing now? What's the next stage?
So this here is a vinaigrette that I made. So I've taken from my last crop, grow it home through the ACMPR. Is a great way to get to know your product, get to know how the plant is produced, how it's actually grown. It's like when you're growing a tomato or a cucumber at home. You can start it from the seed, you see it grow, and you get to know what the plant looks like, what it can smell and taste like in the end. So this was a vinegar that I've added some dill to, and then I took the stems, I decarboxylated the stems to give it a little nice toasted flavor to it. I'll put this in the bottom here, the bowl. We're just going to construct the vinaigrette. This is a basil oil that I've taken Spanish olive oil. I've infused this with basil, and then as well as a little bit of CBD. So the salad is inspired by the bud itself here. So we have some trichomes and some stigmas here that I'm going to show you as well.
Now, it's funny because for me, John, when I was raised and shown kind of how to cook, baking was a big thing for me. In Irish family, they don't really use kind of like direct, minute instructions. They a little bit of this. I'm assuming you don't want to just be a little bit of this when you're using very focused ingredients.
No, that's right. If you're new to ingesting cannabis, it's a little bit different when you ingest it, when you inhale it or you vape it. It's a compound called delta-9. And when you ingest it, it's a compound that when your body metabolizes it, it's 11-hydroxy, which is about 5 to 7 more times powerful than delta-9. So you really have to start low, go slow. Anybody new, I would start with 2.5 milligrams to 5 milligrams, and then anybody with more experience, 10 milligrams and maybe beyond. So for the sake of the recipe here, these are made for 5 milligram dose with 1 teaspoon of oil being inside the vinaigrette here.
So if I was introducing my grandmother, my mother, I'd start with maybe a 2 or 5 gram and then ease up.
That's right, yeah.
Wonderful, okay. Little do they know they're very, very much going to be looking forward to my next meal, so they're in for a real surprise. Now, John, I got to ask, like, you've traveled the world cooking and designing incredible meals and dishes. How different is it now working with Zenobis and using this kind of infusion? Like, was it a big change for you as a chef?
As a chef, it was really great because, you know, when I worked in Europe, I did a Michelin whip restaurant. It was all about the terroir, all about quality of product. Working with Zenobis, nothing has changed. Quality of product, great terpene contents, beautiful buds, beautiful flowers, you know, experts, you know, in the industry in my eyes. You know, I love it so much.
They seem to be. So okay. So now that we've mixed, we've got our base. We've got that coming on quite nicely, our oil.
So yeah, I put some mini cucumbers in here, and then also I've taken a large cucumber. Like I said, it was inspired by the cannabis bud itself. So I've taken this and I peeled this guy here, and then I made this into a puree here, and I set it with a little bit of agar. Agar is a derivative of brown algae, and then we dropped this here into some ice cold olive oil here on the side. We let that guy set for a little bit, and then when we pull it out here, we got some beautiful pearls here.
Oh,
wow.
The
pearls these are inspired by the trichomes. The trichomes really contain a lot of the THC. They become, when they're more crystalline, when they're more milky white like this, they're you have more of an energy. When they start to turn more amber, a little bit dark brown, that's when they become a little bit more sedative.
I think I'd really enjoy seeing this on a morning show, you know, where they're making a bit of food and they're just adding a bit of CBD and a bit of that. That would be a very interesting morning show, and I think we'd all tune into that. There you go.
Yeah, so and I put this inside the bowl here. I have some of the preserved lemon here inside. Cucumber, lemon, and dill. Some of my
Even the look of this, it looks beautiful. Like, and it's only, you know, a vinaigrette. It's only a base, really.
Some black pepper here. Another terpene that's found in some of the food that we consume is carmophyllene. So this one is associated with happiness. So you know, it's a happy salad.
Listen, I'm smelling it and getting happier just from where I am. It smells fantastic. I suppose that's the thing with salad. You put a bit of effort, you great reward. Me slicing a tomato and a cucumber and thinking I've designed a salad is not technically correct. So this looks great.
So this one here, and then I think we're going to go to the plate here right now. So
yeah, absolutely. So kind of when you're serving something like this, John, like how important is it to get the right dosage, the right ingredients, you know, from the perspective of A, as a chef, and B, as someone working for Zenobis?
You know, dosage is everything. You know, really, you have to know what you're consuming at all times. The onset time can be anywhere between 30 minutes onwards and upwards to an hour and a half. So, you know, again, start low, go slow, let your body metabolize it. You know, do a little bit. If you're new, maybe not go out down for the night the first time that you're doing it. Stay at home. You know, find out how your body will react to it because everybody's body reacts different.
Good point.
So I got a little bit of radish here. That's these guys here that I sliced at the bottom.
Beautiful.
Just a little bit of freshness.
Do you know what you're seeing now, ladies and gentlemen, is that, you know, attention to detail that you find with Michelin star chefs. It's when we cook at home, you're looking at it, there's a bit of sauce on the side of the plate. It kind of doesn't look. You're telling people, listen, it tastes fantastic. Don't worry about how it looks. It may look like it's breathing, but don't worry, it's very edible. But this is a show. It's an experience, and this looks fantastic.
So we just got these guys here on the bottom. I'm making sure I get all the vinegar here in that. So you see the beautiful trichomes here. They're starting to show their presence.
I can smell that from here as well. Like that is beautiful. It really is. Wow, wow, wow.
Okay, and then like I was saying, I add some of these tomatoes here. So these tomatoes here are just some vine ripe and Ontario tomatoes that I found at the local market. And then I put them in a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar here. So the sugar and the salt will actually pull out some of the water, and then it just intensify the flavor.
That's absolutely beautiful. Now, do you, obviously with making things like this, I know we've talked about kind of new fusions, but do you use a lot of locally sourced food? Do you think that really kind of adds to what you're creating?
It sure does, you know, when especially if you grow at home, or if you have something that is extremely fresh, it's going to have much more flavor, it's going to be full of nutrients, and it's all about what we're putting into our bodies and how our body can process it. If it's coming from really far away, it's actually starting to break down and decompose, and then by the time you get it, that's why sometimes it may taste a little bit bland or a little bit flat.
The big question I have to ask you, John, do you believe there is the potential for me to make dishes like this myself, rather than staggering home at 2, 3 in the morning and buying an A&W, or as I did the other night, waking up in bed with a 7-Eleven chicken wing, which I'm not proud of, but we've all been there. You know, let's not point fingers.
You know what? With a lot of value-added foods, you know, that's how a lot of people consume and get their energy. But you know, it's check out the website Zenibus. I have a blog up there. I put a lot of my recipes online, so it's very easy for people to kind of read along if you're not taking notes today. Okay, so I think this is the first salad here. You guys are.
If everyone can see that, it just looks.
You guys can maybe come up after and you can take a peek here and
have a little smell. It does smell fantastic.
If doing with the alginate is not your game, you can also just puree the cucumber, make it into this, and you can actually just cut it into some small squares. And you can put this on the outside here, and you'll see this in the next salad, the next dessert that I do.
Yeah, let's head over to the dessert. I really am a sweet tooth kind of guy, so that's great.
Yeah, so you know, when you start when you're having a lunch or light lunch or a supper, I always like to finish with something a little bit sweet. So, you know, like the salad, cannabis is very inspirational to me. I see a lot of different similarities inside between colors, textures, anything like that. So with this here, I've created a peanut butter and jam geode. So with cannabis being a lot of things are created under heat and pressure to extract the oil, same with the geode. So here, this is the inspiration as well. And if the Zenibus booth also has some of these larger crystals here inside the showcase as well, then you guys can stop by and take a peek. But so we're gonna make a little quick batter here. So let's start with this guy.
Now you mentioned the peanut butter. Now the peanut butter, is that just normal peanut butter or is it?
So this is my twist on things. So I've confit the peanuts and a little bit of cannabis oil. I've taken them out and I pureed this and I made my own peanut butter here.
So really, I think the big thing to take away here, guys, is maybe separate storage containers, because I have spent many times spooning peanut butter out of the jar. That is not the peanut butter I want to be spooning out of the jar, because 20 minutes later, I'm going to have a whole different experience. So this is great. Now, John, you know, let's talk about a bit more about your experience, because you've worked all over the world. This really is like kind of that kind of gastro side of it, the chemical side of food. How important is that, and what is it that you love about this?
Well, I love food, I love people, I love cannabis, so it all comes together.
That's the 3 big ones, yeah.
And,
in that particular order, or does cannabis sometimes jump above people?
No, people are up at the top. You guys all make this possible, right? That's what makes it really special. Well saved, well saved.
So
with I put 3 egg yolks in here, along with 80 grams of beet sugar, and then I just want to make these guys come together here, and then I'm going to let them sit for 1 moment. That'll help some of the sugar to dissolve.
Even whipping, he does professionally. Like it just looks better, doesn't it? I don't know. I'm whipping and my arm hurts and my shoulders aching. I'm like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, so then along with the 3 eggs here, I've separated them. I'm going to put them here. I'm going to lightly whip these guys.
Now, we were talking earlier about some of the tools they use, because you know most things we're looking at we can have at home, but things such as this fine individual over here.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about kind of what we're seeing?
Yeah. So this here is you could keep whipping this until you get some get to stiff peaks, but I always think it's really cool to use an ISI. So you're gonna put them in here. This is just like you can do whipped cream in here. I've even put mashed potato in this, and it just creates it very, very light and fluffy.
Some tricks of the trade, ladies and gentlemen. So, I thought this was a little hip flask. I was like, John, it's not appropriate here, but no, it is specifically what it is.
No, it's not for this one. press this once. Press this guy again.
Now, you've worked for some very famous people over the years, and obviously through the Michelin stars and stuff. What did you learn in your journey? What's allowed you to kind of help create dishes like this?
So I worked with Albert Adria. He was from El
wow.
Bulli, from Spain. He was the world's best pastry chef. I worked in Switzerland for a year and a half, like I said, with Urs Tolman. And what these chefs have really brought me is that, you know, 1 + 1 is 3. Always be on the horizon. Always think of something new. Be ahead of the game, and really look for something that that can drive your own creativity and passion.
Interesting. And I think that's the reason why we don't use our chefs as our accountants, because very different numbers there. But this looks great. So what's our next stage?
Okay, so the next stage here is I'm going to add the confit peanuts here, the peanut butter that I made. This guy.
And is that natural peanuts? You've added nothing in salt or anything like that as well? Or?
No, these ones are just organic peanuts, just from the market. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm going to make these guys come together a little bit here and break it up.
For me, I have a real soft spot for anything peanut butter based. Peanut butter with peanut butter. It's a little dish that I designed myself.
And I have some almond powder.
Okay. So I give it that sweetness, a bit of nuttiness with the almonds.
That's right, yeah, they're going to complement each other. These ones are just ground white, plain floured almonds. And then the peanuts will add that really nice, rich, dark flavor to it. I have 40 grams of all-purpose flour.
I really enjoy you using grams as well.
That's right, yeah.
I cannot tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the difficulty to try and use cup measurements when you've never been raised with cup measurements. I don't know, because cups are different sizes. There's that size cup. I didn't know what I was using. So my first 6 months of making food in Canada was not a success. So this is great to see.
So we got all this guys in here.
And it's amazing that you can do things like that. You know, I think when we think of edibles, we're thinking of, the brownies, the cookies, things like that. So to see it kind of, raised to this kind of level, it's kind of remarkable, John. And what really kind of sparked your interest in bringing that level of kind of edible consumption into a higher level?
Well, it's about the inspiration behind it, making food and just creating something really, really beautiful. You can make just a torte, have it round, but that could be a little bit boring. So you want to make something visually appealing, and especially when you're consuming cannabis, your senses are amplified. You're hungry, your sight, sound. There's so many different things that are at play within your body. So why can't food be one of them?
Very good point.
So now that I have the batter here put together, you're going to inject the egg whites. So it's just cool, isn't it? It is absolutely sensational. And you fold these guys in here, and this will add a little bit of lightness to it, and it'll help the peanut butter as well not be so heavy.
And it's so important to get that fluffiness from the egg whites. It's such a crucial stage of the dish, I find.
That's right.
If you don't get that right, it's a runny mess.
So you can stir these guys, it's coming together really well.
Amazing.
Okay.
Now, is there anything that you've done that you would do differently, or what really is your, let's say, the creme de la creme of your foods when you're coming to this kind of infusion?
Creme de la creme.
So what would you say if I said, John, you're going to make me one dish to really sell me on this infusion of high dining?
High dining.
What are you making?
It's going to be possibly one of my pommes purees. So I use a French fingerling potato. It's boiled with a little bit of water and salt. And I take these guys out, I pass them 3 times, and then I fold it in with French butter. It's a silky, smooth thing. Maybe just a couple of drops of CBD, maybe a little bit of lemon to kind of bring that up with the lemony. And these ones here are
fantastic.
Yeah, these ones, everyone loves them.
Yeah, it's really making me hungry, I'm going to be honest. Okay, so where are we? So what are we doing now?
Okay, so the last decarb that I've done, I've used the shishkaberry strain, and after the decarb and opened it up, I was like, wow, this smells like roasted nuts. It's going to pair perfectly with the peanut butter cake here. So you put this guy in. I'm going to fold this in.
You really make it seem very simple. I'm sure it is.
It is, yeah. Once you get to know it, it's like cooking a steak.
Yeah.
The first few times you're going to overcook it, undercook it, but once you master it and you get a feel for it, it's going to be easy.
I suppose it's just getting used to adapting preconceived recipes, isn't it? Because we've all made cakes, bread, things like that, and all you've done really is you've tweaked elements.
That's right, yeah, tweak it, added, found ways to add more flavor to the recipe, found ways to pair the cannabis properly as well. And then through the magic of the Lift Expo,
here's one we found earlier.
We make this at 35 minutes at 350 degrees, and then you're going to be left with this guy here, this cake. So you want to let that cool completely before you try to pop it out. So this guy.
So even that looks fantastic. Mine definitely don't look like that. And
so now that I've taken this one here, I've lightly cut this guy out. This one here is going to be for tomorrow's lunch. So what I would do with this guy here, instead of taking it away, these are measured out by gram in the end, and then that way you can divide that by your 5 to 10 milligrams and find out exactly how much THC is in each piece here. So this one here is going to be for lunch tomorrow. I'm going to soak this in with a little bit of milk, a little bit of cream and condensed milk, caramelized sugar, and then I'm going to have a tres leche cake tomorrow. So inside this one here, this is what I'm really looking for though. So I made a confit here with some strawberries. Beautiful Ontario strawberries are in peak season right now.
And really, what's your advice to people kind of watching out there now and kind of listening, like going about this and really kind of, I suppose, giving this a go? Like, what are you saying? What are you recommending?
Find something that you know how to prepare, and then just kind of really think about it, how you can add, if you like butter on your beans, maybe you can make a little small can of butter. If you like a vinaigrette, maybe you can try infusing some olive oil. If you know how to make a mayonnaise, you can make a beautiful Caesar salad dressing. It's really not as, it's once you start to get a feel for it, it's quite easy. So this here now, so we have the cake rushed, the peanut butter cake. So this here is some raspberries that I've taken. I've passed this and I've boiled that with a little bit of agar. And I've created some small squares here. This is going to resemble the crystals inside the cake.
You're messing with everything I thought I knew about food, because when you lifted that up, I was like, I know what a raspberry is. And this guy's taking the mick out of it. There's no way that's a raspberry. So it's incredible what you've done, and kind of like, because you're basically messing with the chemical compounds of these foods. You're breaking them down and you're reimagining them.
That's right, just reimagined and making something that just something out of the everyday and trying to make it extraordinary.
It's absolutely sensational. John, how realistic do you think in the next couple of years is it that, is there the potential, let's say in the next 5 years, do you believe, to see restaurants that are offering food on their menus with this kind of option? That's as long as obviously law permits.
Yeah, as law permits, I think you'll see a lot of maybe hemp-derived CBD, something that's a little bit more safe, that's not psychoactive. But in the end, I think with some of the value-added products out there, maybe we'll end up seeing something a little bit more than gummies. Maybe you'll see a chocolate brownie with 65% dark cocoa inside, mixed with some infused coconut oil that has a nice aroma, maybe a little bit of dried mango. Then you'll have that myrcene in there to balance it out. So everybody knows the secret of the mango with amplifying the effects. Okay, so now I'm going to take this. This one here is a grape jelly now that I've set with using some sheet gelatin or even just a powder gelatin here. And I just mince this one up very, very fine. Put this guy inside.
It just looks amazing. I almost don't want to eat it. It looks too good to be consumed. Not that I won't consume it, for sure I will, but... So what was your first experience with this kind of these kind of elements mixing together? Like, how did you end up going from, I suppose the structure of a day-to-day chef making real life out there food to mixing these elements and working with Zenobus? Kind of what led you in that path?
It was really a passion and love for flavors and good foods. The first time that I had it made an edible, I was in culinary school, and it was terrible. It was not very good. There was no effect to it.
Honesty's good. We appreciate that.
And I started playing around with it and really looking for a way to make this better and to make it really, really tasty, because there's a lot of them can be out there, can be bitter, but if you really match it really well, you can have something that's really enjoyable.
I think, I have to agree that it's that kind of trying things, experimenting and kind of making it come to life, but it's amazing even just to watch you work, because it's so charismatic. You know exactly what you're doing, and it's amazing. It's like watching any other chef. I could be watching 9 a.m. on CTV, and it's exactly the same as what we're seeing right now.
So this here looks like a little bit of dirt, but it's actually edible soil that I've created using some toasted oatmeal,
Edible
with
soil.
some meringues, a little bit of dark cocoa, and then a little bit of coconut charcoal. So put a little bit of this on the bottom here. That'll help stabilize the cake.
One of my very good friends, John, is a vegan, and for a long time he deals with that kind of concept of, oh, what do you eat? And he'd get a lot of people like, oh, do you just eat dirt? Well, no, he physically can eat dirt, which is it's incredible, and he can have the last laugh. It's kind of amazing.
That's right. And then here you have the peanut butter and jam geode cake here.
That's absolutely sensational. Ladies and gentlemen, can you see that? Like, it's absolutely amazing. John, I don't know what to say other than thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please, John, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Now, just before you go, we'll take a minute or so. We've got a minute, I think. We'll open it up. Does anyone got any questions? I'll whip around actually with a microphone. So, yeah, let's pick your brains. Anyone want to ask anything? Wonderful.
And then if anybody's shy, I can.
She put her hand up. That's it. We've already picked you now. You done? You've got to be careful as you raise your hand. You know, this time. Anyone in the corner? Beautiful.
First of all, thank you, Chef. That was a very good presentation. And it's an important one too with the